from Littlehampton faces deportation today because the UK Borders Agency's permitted her family to stay, but insists that she must leave. She's an adult, but only just. 19 years old Jackie Young has been told she's got to go back to South Africa, even though her mum and sister have been told they can stay in the UK. And to make matters worse, she doesn't have any family back in South Africa to go to. So earlier, Jackie and her stepfather, Robert, spoke to us on the programme, and Robert told us what it was like when they heard the news that Jackie was going to have to go back to South Africa.
The whole family was, over the weekend, absolutely devastated. We couldn't understand why, because she is our daughter. She's part of, our family. What does a 19-year-old do when you dump her off a plane in South Africa? Where does she go money-wise? They've literally crippled this family financially because we're having to pay for even more solicitors now to try and stop this action. And it's people are making life so much more difficult for a little family that just want to be together and enjoy life in a normal way.
Jackie's with you as well. Hello, Jackie. Thanks for coming on.
Hi.
What would be the prospect of going back to what would that be like for you, going to South Africa?
Well, I'll be all on my own. There's no one there. I have nowhere to go, no family, and I'll be all on my own. And I'm scared of that.
On the line is the family solicitor, Rahil Chaudhari, and also from the UK Visa and Immigration Service, Ash Sadat, who's the director there. The Immigration Service and the Visa Service acted on behalf of the family. Ash, let me start with you. What actually went wrong? The delays in getting Jackie's stuff processed?
Sure. Good morning, Neil.
Morning.
The delays were mainly down to how should I put it? The documents coming from the clients in obviously preparing the application to go to the Home Office. Obviously, with applications of this nature, a lot of documents are required to prove support of the case. And obviously there was a delay, and then it was obviously promulgated again by the Royal Mail, who failed to deliver certain specific documents on time, and then that went to Belfast, and it was just a whole rigmarole that obviously caused a major delay in submitting the application.
Didn't you flag up to the family that time was tight?
Absolutely, we did indeed, but obviously, some variables you can't legislate for with regards, a company like Royal Mail doing what they did. It was a complete farce what we had to go through to try and get these documents back, and they indeed were sent back to the client. So it was just one of those things that didn't help the situation. And also, when Diane came to us, the rules changed about a month after with regards to having to do an English test now as well. And unfortunately, Diane suffers with dyslexia, and it was very difficult for her to pass this as well.
Right.
So it all added to the saga.
Obviously, there's a bit of a dispute here, so let's have a word with Rahil Chaudhari, who's from the solicitors. How do the family see this then?
Hello, good morning, Neil. It's Rahil Chaudhari from Arlingsworth Solicitors.
Yes.
I've got to say that firstly, we've just taken over the case. The decision is a ludicrous decision in the sense that she's got very, very strong Article 8 rights, and that if a senior caseworker at UKBA had had a look at the case, the caseworker would have known that there are other family members and that the decision for the mother and her biological sister had been made in a favourable way.
But even if she's over 18, if she's an adult, don't the rules change?
She's only just an adult, but even though she's an adult, she's been here since she was 13, so really most of her... And she's still part of the family unit. For all intents and purposes, she's only just an adult. Even if we take her into the adult category, she's got very, very strong Article 8 rights. Her family is here, her half-sister is here, I think her grandparents are here. She virtually has nobody in South Africa. UKBA, under the Article 8 rights, human rights, have a discretion. Even if some aspects of the application are not all ticked, i.e. the English test is not done, they still have a discretion of not to say no, but to give maybe limited leave to remain in the circumstances, so that she can sort of fix the English test or the other criteria and then apply for permanent leave.
Okay. Now, the deadline was today. The family told us earlier she's not going to be getting on a plane to South Africa today. I mean, what might happen? Might she be forcibly put in a detention centre or something like that? Or does it go to appeal? Or tell us what's likely to happen now.
Well, unfortunately, because the application previously, before we came on record, had been made after her visa had expired, it means that she doesn't technically have a right of appeal. The right of appeal is triggered, again, once they tried to try and remove her from the UK. Now, to answer your question, absolutely, in theory, enforcement officers or the police could come over to her home and take her to a detention centre where she would be held pending removal to South Africa, so that could happen. We're hoping that UKBA will use their common sense and realise, that she's not a criminal or somebody that's going to cause risk to the community or, any of those circumstances, and that they will, reopen the case and have a look at the circumstances very, very carefully.
Okay, let's see what happens. Rahil Chaudhari, thanks very much indeed. 8:32.